Good afternoon. My name is David Almanzan, and I will be informing you about cycling. So right now, the cycling is booming amidst these struggling times. Millions of people all around the world are joining this already massive community of cyclists, and right now is the perfect time for anyone to join. Let me give you a little background information. So cycling actually started in the early 1800s. It was first made as an alternative to horses. Then 50 years later, the first race occurred, and from then on the the slope just went up. From that point on, one small race turned into another race and then another race. Where hundreds of people started joining in, and now we have cyclists and triathlons and creating their own events like the Tour de France. Cycling, which is such a large topic, can be broadly divided into two topics: casual cycling and professional cycling. In my speech, I will be informing you about the different types of cycling that you can participate in. So, with casual cycling or casual bike riding, it can mean a bunch of things. It can mean riding your bike in your neighborhood with your friends or with your family, or riding around a community just trying to get a good workout in, or or going to a bike park and getting sick air from those dirt jumps with your friends. I know here, especially here in Houston, there's many different community events where you just ride for maybe about 10 miles. You just ride it with everyone and you just have a great time and get an amazing experience from it. Now we're going to move on to professional cycling, which is actually a lot bigger. So professional cycling has three topics within itself. It has road racing, mountain bike racing, and professional BMX. So road racing is kind of self-explanatory. You race on the road, but you race for a long distance. I'm talking like 50, 60 miles in one race. And it's a lot more fast paced. You got people going 20, 30, 40 miles per hour the entire time, and there's like 50, 60 people per race. So, and it gets very dangerous at times. And now with mountain biking is a lot slower pace, a lot calmer. One race is only a max like 20 miles, and the max speed that someone would go would be like about 20 miles. It's, so yeah, it's just very calm and slow pace, and there's less people. There's like maybe 20, 30 people per race. It's everyone's very spaced out throughout the dirt trails that you race to in those state parks. You won't see another person for another mile ahead of you. Now we'll get into professional BMX. So professional BMX actually has three other topics within itself. It has true BMX, freestyle BMX, and BMX racing. So true BMX, I'm sure you've seen a lot of this. Is these BMXers that they perform tricks in these bowls and these quarter pipes and half pipes and all these different rails and all that. And they just perform tricks along those to try to rack up the most points possible. The same goes with freestyle BMX. They try to rack up the most points, except they complete tricks on a flat concrete surface. You know, and then BMX racing actually they race along this very short distance. It's a group of 6 to 10 riders. They line up at this large hill at the top behind the metal gate. Once that metal gate drops, the riders pedal aggressively, like real fast, just aggressive, through a short distance dirt track filled with steep, short hills, bumps, and tight turns. The distance, the track is maybe like a half mile long at the most. It's very adrenaline rushing and fast paced. I actually used to do BMX racing myself when I was younger. It's very fast paced and adrenaline rushing, and it can get pretty dangerous at times too. So yeah, I think it's time to close things off. In my speech, I spoke to you about the large variety of activities found in cycling, in the cycling community, like casual cyclists and professional cycling. I hope to have introduced you to enough information to find out what community you would like to be a part of if you're thinking about following the cycling route. And with this massive variety of activities, cycling is something many people won't get bored of anytime soon.